When you grow old, beware. 8 evident signs that there is an evil person next to you. As we age, life teaches us many lessons. We grow wiser, more empathetic, and often more patient. However, even with years of experience, there's one thing we must always remain vigilant about: the people we allow into our lives. Not everyone around us has good intentions, and unfortunately, some individuals can bring harm, manipulate, or exploit our trust, especially as we grow older. If you're in your golden years, it's crucial to recognize the signs of toxic or malicious behavior. Evil people are not always obvious. Sometimes they hide behind smiles, kind words, or even long standing relationships. But there are clues to their true nature if you know what to look for. Here are 8 evident signs that you might have someone harmful in your life and practical advice on how to protect yourself. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. 1. They enjoy seeing you struggle. As we journey through life, one of the hardest truths to accept is that not everyone rejoices in our happiness. Some people, those truly harmful at their core, find satisfaction not in lifting others up, but in watching them fall. For older adults, this can be especially painful because it often comes from people we thought we could trust. Imagine sharing a personal hardship, perhaps about managing health issues, financial concerns, or the loneliness that can sometimes accompany aging. You might expect sympathy or even a simple word of kindness, but instead, you're met with dismissiveness, laughter, or worse, someone who seems to relish in your vulnerability. This behavior often feels subtle at first. It might come in the form of a sarcastic comment, a lack of genuine concern, or even spreading your struggles to others as gossip. These individuals are skilled at hiding their cruelty under the guise of humor or indifference. A seemingly innocent remark about how forgetful you've gotten lately might actually be a jab meant to belittle you. Or they might amplify your challenges when speaking to others, exaggerating your limitations to paint you as incapable or weak. These are not actions of a caring soul. They are calculated moves meant to feed their sense of superiority or provide them with twisted entertainment. The pain of realizing someone takes joy in your struggles can cut deeply, particularly when that person is someone close, a family member, a caregiver, or a longtime friend. It's easy to internalize their behavior, wondering if you're imagining it or if you've done something to deserve it. Let me reassure you, you are not the problem. Their actions reflect their lack of empathy, not your worth. Protecting yourself from such individuals starts with recognizing their patterns. Pay attention to how they respond when you're vulnerable. Do they offer comfort and support? Or do they seem amused by your hardships? Do they downplay your achievements while magnifying your difficulties? Trust your instincts. If someone repeatedly leaves you feeling worse after an interaction, it's a sign they may not have your best interests at heart. It's also important to remember that distancing yourself from someone who harms you is not selfish. It's necessary for your emotional well-being. Surround yourself with people who bring positivity, kindness, and encouragement into your life. Seek relationships that are grounded in mutual respect and care, where your joys are celebrated and your struggles met with compassion. Your peace and happiness are too precious to be disrupted by those who find pleasure in your pain. You have the wisdom and strength to recognize such behaviors and the courage to step away from anyone who doesn't cherish the incredible person you are. 2. They seek to control your life. Control is a subtle yet powerful weapon in the hands of harmful individuals. As we grow older, our needs and circumstances may shift, and unfortunately, this can make us more vulnerable to those who seek to dominate or manipulate our lives. Whether it's through overstepping boundaries, imposing their decisions, or dismissing our voice, these people often mask their controlling behavior as concern or authority. Imagine a caregiver or family member who insists they know what's best for you, making decisions on your behalf without consulting you. They may choose your doctor, decide where you should live, or dictate how you spend your days, all while dismissing your preferences. What starts as small, seemingly helpful actions can escalate into a pattern where you feel increasingly sidelined in your own life. Their intentions might not always appear harmful at first. They may present themselves as being protective or simply efficient. But over time, the erosion of your autonomy becomes clear. For example, they might constantly monitor your activities, insisting it's for your safety, but their real goal is to control. Perhaps they manipulate you emotionally, saying things like, "You don't know what's good for you anymore," or "I'm only doing this because you can't handle it yourself." These words cut deep, not just because they undermine your confidence, but because they exploit your trust and love. The need for control often stems from a person's desire for power. They may feel a sense of superiority by dictating your life, or they may be trying to ensure their own convenience by shaping your choices to align with their preferences. This behavior is not about helping you, it's about keeping you dependent and compliant. For someone in your later years, this can feel stifling, even humiliating, as it diminishes the independence you've worked hard to maintain throughout your life. But let me tell you this, your life is still your own. No matter your age or circumstances, your voice matters. Your preferences, dreams, and decisions deserve to be heard and respected. It's crucial to assert your independence, even in situations where others might assume they know what's best for you. If someone tries to take over your life without including you in the process, it's not a reflection of your capabilities. It's a reflection of their need for control. Start by setting clear boundaries. You have every right to say, "Thank you for your concern, but I'd like to make this decision myself." If necessary, seek out neutral support, such as a counselor, trusted friend, or professional advocate who can help ensure your wishes are respected. Document your preferences clearly in conversations and, when applicable, in legal forms like living wills or power of attorney agreements. This empowers you to retain control while providing clarity to those who genuinely care for your well being. Control, when wielded by others, can feel like a prison, but remember that you hold the key. By recognizing the signs and standing firm in your sense of self, you can reclaim your autonomy and live with dignity. Those who truly love you will respect your choices and support your independence, not seek to dominate it. You have the wisdom of a lifetime to guide you. Trust in that, and don't let anyone take away the freedom you've earned. 3. They make you feel uneasy. Have you ever been in someone's presence and felt an inexplicable sense of discomfort? Perhaps it's a sinking feeling in your chest, a tightness in your stomach, or an overwhelming desire to leave the room. This unease is often your intuition trying to tell you something, and it's a sign that should never be ignored. As we grow older, our instincts, sharpened by years of life experience, become invaluable. They help us detect when something or someone isn't quite right. Yet, harmful people have a way of making us doubt ourselves. They might act perfectly pleasant on the surface, offering compliments or gestures of kindness, yet their presence leaves you feeling unsettled. It's not always about what they say or do. Sometimes it's just the energy they bring into the room. Imagine a neighbor who always seems overly interested in your personal life. They may visit often, asking detailed questions about your finances, health, or family relationships. At first, it might seem like they care, but over time, their intrusive behavior begins to feel invasive. Or perhaps it's a family member who, despite doing nothing overtly harmful, always leaves you feeling drained or anxious after a conversation. These feelings of discomfort are your body and mind picking up on subtle cues that something is amiss. This unease can also arise in group settings. Have you ever attended a family gathering or community event where one person's presence changes the whole atmosphere? Maybe their words are polite, but their tone carries a sharpness that cuts through the room. Or perhaps their silence feels heavy, as if it's masking judgment or resentment. These individuals often exude an unspoken negativity that can wear down your spirit over time. The danger lies in ignoring these feelings. Many of us, especially as we age, are conditioned to be polite and accommodating, even when it comes at the expense of our own comfort. We may brush off our instincts thinking, maybe I'm overreacting, or I don't want to cause trouble. But let me tell you, your peace of mind is worth more than politeness. If someone consistently makes you feel uneasy, that's a valid reason to reevaluate their role in your life. It's important to remember that unease is often your first line of defense. It's your inner wisdom alerting you to potential harm before it becomes obvious. Trust it. If a relationship or interaction leaves you feeling worse instead of better, take note. This isn't about jumping to conclusions or judging others harshly. It's about respecting your own well-being. Protecting yourself doesn't have to involve confrontation. Sometimes it's as simple as creating a little distance. Limit your interactions with people who make you feel uneasy and spend more time with those who bring you comfort and joy. If the uneasy individual is someone you can't avoid, like a family member or caregiver, consider enlisting the help of a trusted friend or mediator to navigate the relationship. Your golden years are a time to cherish peace and fulfillment. You've earned the right to prioritize your happiness and protect your emotional health. Listen to your instincts, honor your feelings, and surround yourself with people who make your heart feel light. Those are the relationships that truly matter. 4. They refuse to take responsibility. One of the most frustrating traits of harmful people is their refusal to take responsibility for their actions. Instead of owning up to their mistakes or shortcomings, they point fingers, shift blame, and often manipulate situations to make others feel at fault. For older adults, this behavior can be especially disheartening as it erodes trust and creates unnecessary stress during a stage of life where peace and understanding should take priority. You might recognize this pattern in someone who always has an excuse for their behavior. Perhaps it's a family member who mishandles your finances but insists the bank made the error. Or it could be a caregiver who neglects their duties but blames you for being too demanding or impossible to please. These individuals rarely, if ever, admit fault. Instead, they twist the narrative to make themselves appear blameless while placing the burden of guilt or responsibility on you. This refusal to take accountability doesn't just create conflict, it can deeply undermine your confidence and self-esteem. Imagine being in a situation where you're made to feel responsible for someone else's actions over and over again. You might begin to question yourself, wondering if you really are the problem, even when your instincts tell you otherwise. This emotional manipulation is not accidental, it's a calculated tactic used by harmful individuals to deflect attention from their own shortcomings. What's particularly insidious about this behavior is how it preys on your kindness and willingness to forgive. As older adults, many of us have learned to value relationships and avoid unnecessary arguments. These manipulative individuals know this and exploit it, counting on your patience and understanding to cover for their irresponsibility. But no matter how much you care for someone, their refusal to take responsibility is not your burden to carry. It's important to recognize when this pattern is occurring and to reclaim your sense of clarity. Start by observing how they react when confronted with an issue. Do they acknowledge their role, or do they deflect and blame others? Do they make amends, or do they expect you to apologize for bringing up the problem? Once you see the pattern, it becomes easier to detach from their manipulative tactics. Setting boundaries is a crucial step in protecting yourself. If someone blames you unfairly or refuses to own up to their actions, calmly but firmly state the facts. For example, you might say, I understand that things didn't go as planned, but I can't accept responsibility for something I didn't cause. This not only asserts your position, but also signals that you won't be drawn into their games. It's also helpful to document important interactions, particularly when it comes to financial or caregiving responsibilities. Having a clear record can protect you from being scapegoated and provide evidence if you ever need to involve a third party, such as a trusted family member or legal advisor. Most importantly, don't internalize their blame. Their inability to take responsibility reflects their character, not yours. You have every right to expect honesty and accountability in your relationships. By standing firm and recognizing their behavior for what it is, you free yourself from their cycle of guilt and manipulation. At this stage of life, your energy is too precious to waste on people who refuse to grow or take accountability for their actions. Surround yourself with those who uplift you, take responsibility for their behavior, and contribute positively to your well being. You deserve relationships built on trust, respect, and mutual understanding, not the constant emotional labor of managing someone else's irresponsibility. 5. They lie constantly. There is something deeply unsettling about discovering that someone you trust has been lying to you. For older adults who value honesty and integrity gained through years of experience, constant lying can feel like a betrayal that shakes the foundation of your relationships. Harmful individuals lie not only to manipulate, but often to control and exploit. And their dishonesty can leave you questioning your judgment, your choices, and even your self worth. At first, these lies might seem small or insignificant, a little exaggeration about what they've done for you, or an innocent excuse about why they didn't follow through on a promise. But over time, a pattern emerges. You begin to notice that their stories don't add up, their promises remain unfulfilled, and their explanations become riddled with contradictions. Their lies aren't just careless, they are calculated tools to manipulate your perception of reality. Imagine a caregiver who assures you they've taken care of important errands, picking up your prescriptions, paying bills, or scheduling your appointments, only for you to discover later that nothing was done. When confronted, they may fabricate more lies to cover their tracks, insisting the pharmacy was closed, the office was unreachable, or you must have misunderstood. Or perhaps it's a family member who borrows money, swearing they'll repay you, but later pretends the agreement never existed. These lies are not about forgetfulness or miscommunication. They are deliberate attempts to deceive and gain at your expense. What makes constant lying so damaging is the erosion of trust it causes. Trust is the glue that holds relationships together, and without it, even the strongest bonds can crumble. For older adults who often rely on others for various forms of support, this betrayal of trust can feel particularly isolating and disheartening. You may find yourself second guessing everything this person says, wondering if you're being overly critical or if they're genuinely trying to change. But let me assure you, a pattern of lying is not an accident, it's a choice. Addressing this behavior requires courage and clarity. The first step is recognizing it for what it is. Ask yourself, does this person's version of events frequently change? Do they become defensive or evasive when questioned? Do their actions align with their words? If the answers raise doubts, it's a sign you're dealing with someone who prioritizes their own agenda over your trust. Once you've identified the pattern, it's essential to protect yourself. Be cautious with what you share and avoid giving them opportunities to exploit your vulnerability. For instance, if finances are involved, keep clear records and involve a trusted third party to oversee important transactions. If their lies involve promises of help or support, have a backup plan in place so you're not left stranded if they fail to follow through. Confronting a chronic liar can be challenging, especially if they're skilled at deflecting blame or turning the situation around on you. When you do choose to address their behavior, focus on facts rather than emotions. For example, instead of saying, I feel like you're lying, try, you told me this bill was paid, but I see it hasn't been. Can you explain what happened? This keeps the conversation grounded in evidence and makes it harder for them to dodge accountability. You must decide how much space to give someone who consistently undermines your trust. While forgiveness is a virtue, it does not require you to tolerate harmful behavior. You can forgive while also creating distance, prioritizing relationships with people who value honesty and integrity as much as you do. In your golden years, your peace of mind and emotional well being should come first. Surround yourself with people who speak truthfully, act honorably, and respect the trust you place in them. Those are the relationships that bring joy and security, not the chaos and confusion caused by constant lies. You deserve nothing less than honesty, and it's never too late to insist on it. 6. They show no remorse. One of the clearest signs of a harmful individual is their complete inability to show remorse. When someone hurts you, whether through words, actions, or neglect, a person of character will feel guilt, acknowledge their mistake, and take steps to make amends. But those who lack empathy and remorse instead rationalize, dismiss, or even deny their wrongdoing, leaving you burdened with the emotional weight of their actions. Picture a situation where someone close to you, perhaps a friend, family member, or caregiver, says something deeply hurtful, like criticizing your decisions or mocking a personal struggle. When you express your hurt, you hope for understanding, perhaps even a sincere apology. Instead, they brush it off saying, "Oh, you're just being sensitive." Or worse, they double down, insisting, "I didn't do anything wrong. You're overreacting." This refusal to acknowledge your pain is more than a failure of kindness. It's a deliberate act of emotional deflection. This lack of remorse often comes with an unsettling ability to rewrite reality. They may twist the narrative, insisting that you misunderstood their intentions or that you're the one who should apologize. Their indifference to your feelings can make you question your own emotions, leaving you unsure whether you're justified in feeling hurt. Let me assure you, your feelings are valid. The refusal of another person to acknowledge their impact on you does not diminish the truth of your experience. People who lack remorse often use their indifference as a weapon, keeping you in a constant state of emotional confusion. They might wrong you again and again, knowing that they won't face real consequences because they can always manipulate the situation in their favor. Over time, this can drain your emotional reserves, leaving you feeling isolated and undervalued. The only way to break free from this cycle is to recognize their lack of remorse for what it is, a sign of deep-seated selfishness and emotional immaturity. You cannot force someone to feel guilt or take responsibility, but you can protect yourself from their harmful influence. Establish boundaries that protect your peace of mind, and don't waste energy seeking apologies or resolutions they are unwilling to give. Instead, prioritize relationships with people who demonstrate genuine care and accountability. The people who truly matter will never minimize your feelings or ignore the harm they've caused. They will acknowledge their mistakes, not because they have to, but because they value you. At this stage in life, your time and emotional energy are precious. Spend them on those who uplift you, not on those who leave you carrying the weight of their mistakes. 7. They are cruel and insensitive. Cruelty in any form is one of the most glaring red flags of a harmful person. Unlike unintentional mistakes or momentary lapses in judgment, cruelty is deliberate. It is the conscious choice to inflict pain, emotional, verbal, or physical, on someone else. For older adults who deserve respect and dignity, encountering such behavior is not only painful, but unacceptable. Imagine someone close to you, a family member, friend, or even a professional who uses your vulnerabilities as a weapon against you. They might make cutting remarks about your health, your age, or your abilities, not to help or support you, but to belittle you. A hurtful comment like, well, you're too old to understand this, or a dismissive joke at your expense during a family gathering may seem trivial to them but cuts deeply into your sense of self worth. Cruelty often masquerades as honesty or tough love. They may claim they're just being truthful when pointing out your insecurities or mocking your efforts, but their words don't come from a place of care. They come from a desire to control, dominate, or demean. Their insensitivity is not about helping you grow or improve. It's about making themselves feel superior at your expense. What makes this behavior especially damaging is its cumulative effect. Even small acts of cruelty, sarcastic remarks, dismissive attitudes, or unkind actions can chip away at your confidence over time. You may find yourself second guessing your worth, questioning whether you deserve kindness or respect. But let me remind you, you are deserving of compassion and dignity, always. Someone's cruelty says more about their character than it does about your value. It's essential to recognize cruelty for what it is, an intentional act of harm. Don't let anyone excuse it as humor or honesty. If someone's words or actions make you feel small, belittled, or disrespected, you have every right to protect yourself. Speak up if you feel comfortable, saying something like, "That comment was hurtful and I'd appreciate it if you didn't say things like that." If they dismiss your concerns or continue their behavior, consider whether they deserve a place in your life. Surround yourself with people who celebrate your strengths, honor your journey, and support your well-being. Seek out relationships where kindness, patience, and empathy are the foundation. Cruelty has no place in your golden years or in any stage of life. By standing firm against insensitivity and embracing those who truly value you, you can preserve your peace and ensure that your days are filled with respect and love. 8. Others have warned you about them. One of the greatest gifts of community, be it family, friends, or neighbors, is the shared wisdom and perspective they can offer. Sometimes, when we are too close to a person or situation, we may overlook red flags. This is where the insight of others becomes invaluable. If people you trust express concern about someone in your life, it's worth listening carefully. Imagine you've started forming a friendship or relying on someone new, perhaps a neighbor who's offered to help around the house, or a family member who has suddenly taken an interest in managing your finances. While their intentions may appear genuine, trusted individuals in your circle might voice doubts. They may point out inconsistencies in the person's actions, share troubling stories from their own interactions, or caution you about behaviors that you might not have noticed. It's natural to feel defensive at first, especially if you've come to rely on this person, or if their help has made life easier. You might think, surely they wouldn't do anything to hurt me, or you don't know them like I do. But remember, those who love and care about you have no ulterior motives. Their warnings are likely grounded in observations and experiences that could save you from future harm. Listening to these warnings doesn't mean you have to immediately act on them or end the relationship. Instead, let them serve as a prompt for deeper reflection. Observe the person's behavior more closely. Are they consistent in their words and actions? Do they respect your boundaries, or do they push past them under the guise of helping you? Do their actions align with their promises, or do they seem to use charm or manipulation to get what they want? The beauty of having a trusted network is that they often see things we cannot. They may notice patterns of selfishness, dishonesty, or control that we are too close to recognize. While the decision to trust or distance yourself from someone is ultimately yours, valuing the insights of those who care for you can help you make a more informed choice. Remember, listening to warnings isn't a sign of mistrust or paranoia. It's a sign of wisdom. You've lived long enough to know that not everyone who appears kind has pure intentions. By considering the concerns of your loved ones, you can protect yourself while maintaining the relationships that truly matter. How to protect yourself as you grow older. Your time, energy, and peace are precious. Here are a few additional steps to safeguard yourself from harmful individuals. 1. Trust your instincts. If something doesn't feel right, it probably isn't. Don't ignore your gut feelings. 2. Set boundaries. Be clear about what you will and won't tolerate. Toxic people thrive on pushing boundaries. 3. Involve trusted loved ones. Share your concerns with family or close friends. They can offer perspective and support. 4. Seek professional guidance. Whether it's a financial advisor, counselor, or lawyer, professionals can help you navigate complex situations safely. 5. Build a supportive network. Surround yourself with kind and trustworthy people who genuinely care about your well-being. Final thoughts. At this stage of life, you deserve relationships that are nurturing, respectful, and uplifting. By recognizing these signs of harmful behavior, you can protect yourself and focus on the people and activities that bring you joy. Evil people may cross your path, but they don't have to stay in your life. You've earned the wisdom and strength to set boundaries and prioritize your peace. Remember, kindness and goodness will always prevail, and your well-being matters most. Stay vigilant, stay wise, and cherish the wonderful connections that make life fulfilling. After all, as the saying goes, good always triumphs over evil. These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.